You don't know how sweet I am. You don't know how sweet I am. I am what I am, and I am sweet. You don't know how sweet I am.
Yo, check this. I might not be what you want me to be, so you might not see what you want to see. But if you got a minute, listen to what I gotta say. Cause it's a brand new year, and it's a brand new day. See, there's a gap between my culture and the life that I lead. So some will call me an apple, and some a bad seed. They have no idea how my heart will bleed. Their words and attitudes are things I just don't need.
You don't know how sweet I am. I am what I am, and I am sweet.
You see, I'm proud of who I am, and I'm proud of where I'm from. Those ones spreading racism, they're just fucking dumb. Now, if you're looking at my life and you say I've assimilated, to simplify things, just a little more complicated. See, I'm a modern day native with a modern day life. I have modern day problems and modern day strife. Now I hear other natives, they talk about the past, and will I do the same? Well, fuck that. See, I've got no time to dwell on what's already done. I've got too many things that I want to do. And they don't include knives, and they don't include guns. I'm talking about knowledge and sharing it too. See, my people need to learn how to cohabitate, get rid of the anger, and get rid of the hate. We gotta stop
Recording in
and learn to
progress.
educate. And you'll see in the end, we all have to communicate. I know there'll be a time to make a stand and a time to fight, but if you do that, make sure the cause is right. Because if the cause is right and the cause is just, greater numbers of people will be backing you up. History has repeatedly shown to us all that united we stand and divided we fall. They were talking about natives and natives alone, because this is a big world and this world is our home. Now I've seen some beautiful people and ugly ones too, and there's no single color that comes into view. So the message I'm sending, it's not all that long. It's just, I want the human race to be stronger than strong. I said I just want the human race to be stronger than strong.
We all have to be strong.
Done it. Word.
We all have to be strong. Peace.
Singer-Songwriter, Galahindi Neogets, Wagi Sliwagi, Niwakindaloda, Unidag, and Wenege, Ani, Bojo, Danse, Okinapi, How, Yonko, Yukodonlas. And for those of you who are here for the first time, I always introduce myself in my original language. So I said, Singer-Songwriter, or hello everyone. Galahindi is my name, and it translates in the colonial language to clouds passing over. I'm a member of the people of the Standing Stone First Nations of the Thames, here on the northern part of Turtle Island, the part that's been relabeled Canada. And Sagoli Lasu, long time no see. Welcome in. Um, so let me just do this because I should get that out of the way. Uh, if you're looking for educational and awareness type stuff from an indigenous perspective, Lasu is one of the streamers here on on Twitch that does that sort of thing. So tonight we're going to have a special guest on the show named Dawn Redskye. She's a Anishinaabe um, singer, and so her traditional name is Gazikwe. So Don Redskye is Anishinaabe and Irish artist who lives in Dishkanzibi, which is in the Dish with One Spoon Treaty Territory. And she has sings. I don't know. Well, actually, she just got here, so let me just admit her in.
Put it on the subtitles.
Sigali, can you
Hello,
hear
how are
me?
ya?
I'm
Yep, yep.
good. Okay, let me just make sure because I did this last time. I did a Zoom meeting and I
Uh-huh.
didn't switch the camera around.
Oh,
So, so the whole Zoom, I had a whole interview where all
Mama,
people saw was me. It
oh no.
that was it was a little embarrassing after because then I posted the VOD and going, here's the interview with Plex, and they're going,
mama,
well,
mama.
where's the Plex part? We can hear
Right.
them, we can't see them.
Oh no.
So I have to make sure I got that right this time.
Hmm.
So actually, I
Mama,
was
mama.
just kind of explaining to them who you were. Um, Now that being said, with some artists, there's you can Google them and
Hmm.
you get their whole bio of everything that they've done since their career started.
Hmm.
You don't have a lot on Google yet.
I
Um,
don't.
and so,
That's a good point though. I do need to up my internet presence game. So,
yeah, and so which is actually in some ways is kind of good because you know if people do interviews and all they explain to people is this is the artist name and this is what you've done, this is this and this. It's kind
mhm.
of like a it's impersonal, I think, and
Right, right.
it's not as it's not really a proper introduction.
Hmm.
And sometimes in some cases as well is that when we introduce people, now I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it properly, but I read it's Gazikwe,
Hmm.
um, and so I was just telling them, right now we are on the Dish with One Spoon Treaty Land, and in southwestern Ontario, and so um, you say from online it's that you're in the Dishkin ZB, so that's Anishinaabe, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Language versus
Yes.
the Haudenosaunee language, so it's a little bit different. But
Right,
I think the
right.
concept's all the same anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, go for being here, and
Oh,
thanks
yeah.
for coming in.
Chimigway for asking me and persisting with me because I get pretty distracted with my other things going on in my life. So,
Especially the ones
yep, and
that
yep,
that keeps people busy for sure.
yep,
Um,
yep.
I'm kind of almost happy that all of my little ones aren't little anymore. They can all take care of themselves.
Right, right. That's fun.
So for those of in the chat who don't know who you are, maybe you could
Mama?
do your introduction the way that you think is proper.
Um,
No.
I'm just gonna move my um this a bit. Okay. Okay. Andi Bojo, Gijik Kwe Ndishnakas, Adik Nindotum, Dishkanzi Ndonjaba. Hi, my name is Gijik Kwe or Cedar Woman in the Anishinaabe Moan. Um, I go by Dawn Redskye. I Caribou Clan, and I live uh, in London area. I'm sorry if the background noise a bit um, is it a bit distracting or
Not for me.
yeah. Yeah,
I
I've been
I'm I'm the oldest of 12. So
oh
so there
wow.
was always background noise. Um
Oldest of 12. Wow.
So you learn at some point how to zone out different noises.
Yes, definitely. Oh, wow. Goodness. Um, yeah, I've been playing music in this area for the last 12 years, and yeah, I started in open mics and just kind of worked my way up through there.
So the first project was the Blackwood honeybees, right?
That's
Is
correct.
that the
Yeah,
first thing?
that's yes. No, because that you, if you go up into my room, into into the drawer where there's um charging cables, then yes, that's not the right word. You want to come say hi, Robin?
No.
No. Okay. That's okay. Quinn would like to say hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Yes. We had a big day. We were at the fan shop powwow all day, and yeah,
Are they
Robin's just on daycare.
running on a sugar rush still, or?
She is. I think she's crashed, but oh, I know, buddy. I know. You want mommy's milk? Why don't you have a cup of milk?
No.
What about a marshmallow?
Yeah. Yeah. Mama.
Yeah, you can go have a marshmallow, okay?
My mama.
Yeah, you go have your marshmallow, okay?
My mama.
Okay, thank you, Robin. Yeah, you go get it. Thanks for letting us know, okay? In the bag in the cupboard.
So Blackwood honeybees, is that something that you think will ever kind of be revived? Um,
Probably not. It probably won't be revived as a band. My sister and I had been performing on and off as a duo for the past couple of years. And right now I'm just performing solo. Let's just be cute. You have to search.
How long do I have to do it
and
for?
then you had, was it the suits that you played with?
Oh, yeah, you know more about my yeah, it was the Soots. They were a couple of roommates of mine that I performed with. Um and
I only discovered them because of our neighbor who took our son to see the suits perform somewhere, and I
oh,
can't remember where it was, but and
right.
that was quite a while ago. That was
That was a while ago.
because he
That
was
was
young.
7 or 8 years ago. Wow.
Yeah, and then
Holy.
so there's a video of Deal with the Devil,
Mm-hmm.
which you played with them. You performed with them in 2015, I think it
Ooh,
was,
yep.
which would have been just after the very first time I met you, because I met
Right.
you at the Home County Folk Festival, which was in 2014,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
when you performed there. And so I have a video of you singing at that folk festival too. And then
Wow. Do
I was
you?
I was gonna ask because the song that you did, you said is just a love song, and then you started to sing it, and about halfway through the song, the violinist started to play, and then at the end, towards the end, when you had that chorus part, they all
Mm-hmm.
kind of joined in. Was
Mm.
that did you guys practice that, or was that just them deciding to jump in and?
If it was at a workshop, it was all improv and yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, it
so it must
was
have been a
one.
workshop then.
Yeah, it was one of the small stages, and it was Trent Severin
Yeah, yeah.
and
Was
Dougal.
Amanda no, it wasn't Amanda Riom. It
No,
was
Sarah McDougal,
yeah.
and
Wow.
yeah. So you've never seen any clips of you at that show.
I haven't. I do my best to avoid all clips of myself. but I'm gonna have to start being professional and finding these and making a, you know, making
Yeah.
actual presents. But
Well, we'll have to share that.
yes.
So you're at the Home County Folks Festival. You did the also you're at a singer-songwriter showcase,
Hmm.
right? For and that was put on by Home County too, right?
Yes.
And then there was the Folk Festival Ontario, which you
Yep.
did like just
Hmm.
three years ago.
Yeah.
And I think
Um,
the biggest thing I saw lately was the Native Americana thing you did with your sister. You guys performed
yes.
that together.
Yes. Yep.
So
We did that.
that was that was really nice to see. And I
Mhm.
think that how did that come about, where you got kind of included into that group of
Um,
artists?
we that was really, yeah, that was really special. Being able to do that for that organization. Was that for Native Women in the Arts?
Native women in the arts, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's we know somebody um who knows,
I know a guy
we've
who knows a guy.
yeah, it's networking, but it's also like word of mouth and but also like that's what Native community is really, like helping each other out and kind of uplifting each other. So we had performed at Nuit Blanche in Toronto years ago, and someone who saw us play there reached out to us to play the Native Women in the Arts. Um, and yeah, we also played the Blue Skies Festival last year. Um, up where is that? Uh, it's kind of out in the middle of.
Out in
It
the
was
middle of
quite a drive.
nowhere.
Yeah, it was quite a drive, but it was beautiful and it was such a lovely festival too. I wish I could remember the name of the area that it was in, but yeah.
The here's a site I found a link of you on, which I didn't even know this site existed. Um, but it's called Atrocities Against Indigenous Canadians for Dummies.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're listed on there. So is what brought that on that you got linked up with them?
Um, I'm friends with the author and asked if I could contribute something to the series. And so I was paired up with someone who I admired still, but Awasis had written um,
Oh, I like her.
some poems. Yeah. And so I did a backdrop for a poem that Awasis had made. And yeah, so it was I made like the background was a jingle dress and then the words were across the jingle dress. So yeah.
I saw her perform at the every year we have that a ceremony at the Forks, um,
Mm-hmm.
and I can't remember. It's been a few years now because I think she was still at Atlas back then.
Mm-hmm.
But she did a spoken word piece there, and it was she's got such powerful words,
Oh, I
and
know. I
so
know.
it was awesome to hear her do it. It was kind of like, don't stop. I
Right.
just want her to keep going
Yeah.
and doing more. It was great. It kind of reminded me a little bit of Kenny Starr type thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So who are your influences as far as musical?
Oh, Buffy is a huge influence of mine for so many reasons. Um, Buffy St. Marie, I was raised on her album. Um, it's from the 80s. I think it's called Coincidence and Likely Stories.
Okay.
And that album that changed my life. It really did. Um, and every time I listened to it as I grew older, I heard something. I would get more from it. And
I think
yeah,
that had Star Walker on it, right?
yes,
Um,
yes.
Yeah, I remember that because she seemed to, well, she came in, she's come in phases, right? Or
Hmm.
periods of time where she, you know, she starts to get big and all of a sudden you don't hear anything. And of course, she had some hurdles along the way that have kind of
Hmm.
put roadblocks in her career, but um, she's overcome them all. And,
Hmm.
so I can absolutely see how she's an influence. And it really surprises me sometimes because, when I'm on Twitch and I see these musicians who are very talented and in living even on Turtle Island, and I say, well, do you know any Buffy St. Marie songs? And they're going, well, I don't know who Buffy St. Marie is. It's like she's been singing for over 60 years now. She's still
Yeah.
performing and touring, right? Because
Yeah, she is.
we just saw her just over a year ago here in
Mhm.
London when and Logan Stats opened for her.
Yes. Yeah.
Um, and you would never guess that she's, uh, now she's 82 years old and still.
I know. I know. I saw her perform in at Massey Hall in November. Is it November? Yeah. And she I there was a point in the performance where I grabbed my chair because I was blown away by her voice and her presence and just it was, yeah, she's just so powerful and amazing. And yeah,
So she's like your biggest influence.
she's one of my biggest influences. I've had lots of different influences over the years. Like high school was Led Zeppelin was my big influence, uh and Neil Young and the band, and Bob Dylan. But then as I grew older, I started to kind of look for female musicians, and then like people of color female musicians. And so yeah, I right now it's definitely Buffy is one of my top
Well,
one.
she's really getting a lot of push too over the last couple of years. I mean, we've
Mhm.
got the um, now the Canadian postage stamp with her image on it,
I
and
haven't heard of that. Oh
oh,
wow.
really? Hold on a second.
What?
I had to get them
Of
because
course.
it's Buffy. First of all, if you can see this, there's the cover
Wow.
for the stamps, and then this is what the stamps actually look
Oh,
like.
cool. Good for her. Wow.
And all these artists actually just back on national, what was it? What do we call it now? Used to be Orange Shirt Day, so now it's National Truth and Reconciliation.
Right, right.
They had a special with all these artists who performed Buffy songs, and it was just a concert that they broadcast on CBC. And
Mhm.
Logan Stats was there, Jeremy Dutcher performed, um, Alanis, Alanis Obamsawin read a poem and spoke at the event. So there was just this whole
Wow.
lineup of artists. So that was really,
Amazing.
so I think that we're really pushing for her recognition, and I think
Hmm.
it's finally kind of coming to terms that you
Finally.
know
Yeah.
after 60 plus years.
Right. It's about time. It's overdue.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
So I see you got your guitar. You're all set.
Got my guitar. Actually just had to check if it don't know if it's in tune right now.
So let me change my view
Okay.
so that the people can see you rather than me.
So I have been working on some new stuff lately. I've been planning on for a few years. I've been planning an album, but now it's finally starting to come together.
Yeah, the
It's
last time we talked, you were trying to get some of it recorded.
yes,
So how's the
still
recording going?
it's so slow when you've got a family.
Right?
It goes, but you know what? It comes out when it's supposed to, and
And
I
that's
think if it came out any sooner, it probably would have been unfinished. So,
that I think what Plex said too when he was on the stream is just that there's in real life stuff
mhm.
that kind of gets in the way of that smooth thing. But it
Yeah,
is one of those things is if it's supposed to happen, it happens when it's supposed to.
sure,
Um,
for
and
sure.
so that's kind of always where we're at, right?
Hmm.
So it's a matter of time.
Yep.
There's probably, they say that there's a reason for everything happening, and
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
if it's meant to happen, then it will.
that's true. That's true. Yeah. So I think I'll try play this one for you. Um, can you hear it okay?
Yeah, I hear you fine. Fantastic Kitty says hi, by the way, my
Oh,
partner.
hello. Hi.
She hasn't seen you in a while. What's it been?
Yeah. Couple years. It's been
Yeah.
a couple of last year.
You know what? For me, especially since the pandemic,
Uh-huh.
time is kind of it's hard to measure it
It
for
really
me
is. It kind of has blended together.
because when we were talking about the stream, we were talking to Plex. Was I was saying we just saw Buffy St. Marie, but it was like over a year ago now, and it
Mm,
felt like it's just been a few months, but
hmm.
um, but that's how fast it just goes, and it kind of
Yeah.
it's been over a year. Wasn't it just like last November? But it was actually the November before. It's-
Oh my goodness. I think that's probably me too.
yeah.
Because it wasn't no last. It was a year. Yeah. Last. Oh yeah. Okay. So this is my newest song. I'm still working on a title for it. So give me a number and we can get married. Buy you a drink, go right into the sunset. I always wanted to ask, but you were too cool. I was too low, but behold, we got something in common. Asking around, people singing your praises. I always wanted to do it with someone like you. And we start to fly in the sky. We're tumbling fast right before our eyes. Tumbling fast right before our tell you my name and you already know it. I had a crush on you then, I still do. Down to the chapel we go with hearts in our eyes. We're out till sun rises high in the sky, tumbling fast right before our eyes. 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 in the sky, tumbling fast right before our eyes. We're tumbling fast right before our eyes. Tumbling fast right before our
Nice.
eyes.
You're still performing with Lindsay and the Lonelys too,
I
right?
am, yes.
So how
Yeah.
is that going?
It's going great. Yeah. We just performed at the Winter Spectacular, which was I'm not I don't know if you remember something called Grickle Grass Festival. And it was a big music festival they used to put on at the Children's Museum
Right.
here in London. Um, but
And that's where
they
it was again, right?
yes, yes.
And I
Oh,
was
it was
working
so
that
fun.
night, so I
Oh,
couldn't make it out that night. But um, yeah, it was too bad that some that's the whole example of the in real life stuff getting in the way.
yes. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. But it was a good time and we've played the Palisade a couple times, which is a great venue. Um,
Yeah, we
yeah.
saw, who did we see there? Oh, Sturgeon, Adam Sturgeon's band.
Um,
Um,
status non-status?
yeah, except he changed the name now. There's something else, and it's an Ojibwe language too.
Oh, I don't want to mess it up.
Yeah,
Omagizi?
yeah,
I'm
something like
sorry,
that.
Adam, if it's I yeah, yeah. That's a that they were nominated for a Juno.
They were. I know that they actually performed. They did some sort of lead up to the Junos. They had an indigenous circle of artists that came out and performed, kind of like a showcase of indigenous artists, and they were
So
part of that, which was really nice to see. I mean, someone from London. Um, we're really actually have a number of celebrities that have come from London and
yeah.
have gone elsewhere in the end and
Hmm.
did things from musicians to actors.
Hmm.
Um, I know Six Nations seems to be really big on the number of artists that have come out of there. Um,
Mm.
Stevie Salas is really Robbie Robertson, Gary Farmer, all
Hmm.
these
Hmm.
all these guys who've really kind of taken off with their careers have come from Six Nations too. So that's awesome to see.
Very cool. Very cool.
We're getting more and more recognition in the music industry, I think, now than ever before. And
Hmm.
um, I'm wondering if part of it hasn't been kind of a result of the awareness people have with, when we had all the unmarked graves being
Hmm.
uncovered and
Hmm.
exposed to the media, and people are now going, we didn't even know, this segment of population um, were into all these other platforms of art,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
So I think that just having interest in trying to dig in a little bit more into that might have
Yeah,
helped kind of spread out awareness of other aspects of the indigenous peoples, because I
for
mean that's a
sure.
very dark part of Canadian history, and I
Hmm.
mean we can't forget it.
Hmm.
It is part of our history, and we have to kind of keep making people aware of that part. But
Yeah,
at the same time, we, like Buffy St. Marie said, is that we have to deal with reality and deal with the dark stuff, but at the same time, we also got to celebrate the good stuff. you know.
definitely.
Um,
Yeah.
and she did this little clip called "Paddle on Both Sides of the Canoe."
Hmm.
If you want to go forward, if you just paddle on one
Mm.
side of the canoe, you're just going to keep going in circles.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and so that's the kind of whole thing is now incorporating the music and letting people know um, about who we are.
Hmm.
And that's what I like about this stream is I like to kind of really put a platform out there where people can become aware of Indigenous artists and singers and actors and all of our people, right? So
That's great.
um, and I think people are really gravitating to it.
That's great. Very cool. Hmm.
So I didn't see anyone post any questions in,
Cool.
but so you got Lindsay and the Lonelies, which you're still
Mhm.
doing. Now, are you recording with them too?
Yes, we are planning on recording. I think she is saying September, so but possibly sooner.
And are you
Um,
recording here in London or?
yes, I think Sugar Shack is where we will be, which is it's a it's a pretty big name in London.
Okay.
Heavy hitter, the Sugar Shack. And yeah, it's where we recorded the first album. And we love the space, we love the setup, we love the vibe. It really suits us. So we're gonna stick with that.
And how do you describe their music?
Um, Melancholy, um, kind of country western, dusty, uh, like almost spaghetti western, but we also like to say it's country music for people who don't like country music. So
Right.
yeah. So I feel like it's more accessible to a lot of people than maybe the corporate country that's out there.
Like New Country, the
Yeah.
the Carrie Underwoods and the
Yeah. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but I mean it's not for everybody, and you know. So yeah, we're just a different take on country.
yeah, it seems that even country goes in waves, it seems. I mean, we had that, old school country, which was that twangy stuff,
Hmm.
which kind of went away with, for a while with people like Kenny Rogers, and Dolly Parton. And then we
Hmm.
got back to the twang with people when Dwight Yoakam came out in the
I was
80s.
gonna say Dwight Yoakam. Yeah.
Kind of brought that back a little bit. And
Yeah.
there's another one, Casey Musgraves,
Yeah.
um, is really getting quite the push in the country scene. And she's a
Do
bit
like
on
her.
that. She's a bit risque for the old school country artists, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. She really
Um,
pushes the envelope, I think, which is good. It shakes it up. Shakes it up.
yeah. What about Shania Twain? What do you think of her?
I think she's great. I think she's I haven't seen that there's a documentary, isn't there?
Yes.
I have not watched that. But I have huge amounts of respect for her as an artist. Like she's a powerhouse and came from middle of nowhere Canada, what
Right.
Timmins,
Yeah.
South Porcupine, that area. So
So she is registered to an Ojibwe nation,
is she?
and which I was kind of surprised that that part of her bio never got pushed in the documentary,
Yeah.
because you
Hmm.
would think that it would be something that you'd want people to know,
At the same
is
time though, if it's kind of maybe it's a painful part of someone's identity, they're not comfortable with talking about it. There's a lot of people that have claimed ancestry and then been proven by journalists or other means,
right.
been proven to have,
None.
you know, not
or
not told the
or
truth.
or it's something like generations and generations back. At some
Mhm.
point, where do you draw that line of being able to claim any identity, whether it's indigenous or otherwise. Is that,
Mhm. Mhm.
so grandparents, great grandparents, great great grandparents.
Right.
So the percentage of you know your ancestry cuts in half with almost with every generation,
But
right?
also being part of the community and, being far, it's such a sticky subject though, because there's so much displacement and fractured family systems within the colonialization,
Right,
that has purposefully, separated us from each other and pushed us apart. So,
yeah. So Shauna um, wrote white paper,
mhm,
which was very political and very talked about, essentially what Indigenous women have to deal with, kind of on an
mhm,
ongoing basis, right? White paper was pretty personal and showed a lot of vulnerability. And I know
yeah,
that when she posted it, um, she gave the little disclaimer, the little trigger warning at when she posted that on Facebook, saying,
yeah,
this is really, here's what it's about, and here's some of the things that are going to be in it. So kind of be aware. Um,
mhm,
and
yeah,
so I've shared that video too, and I tend to try to read that
mhm,
before I play it. So
mhm,
because just because obviously she wanted people to be aware of of
absolutely,
of,
yeah,
of the content and what it meant. And I know that she seemed to have struggles with whether or not to release it when or put it
mm,
out there when she did. So
mhm, mhm,
so do you find, I mean, obviously that was her writing.
mhm.
Do you ever write stuff that's kind of along those lines of really being social comment or?
It's not something it was always something I struggled with communicating. Um, I was more, I was, I've always been better at, I don't know, the spooky stories and the not so much imaginary, but the I don't know, maybe I speak better from like, can you hear my dog?
Uh, I zoned it out.
Oh, my dog is just, she's just whining over there and and she's like bored. I'm just gonna give her like a little I'm
Now
gonna
I
put her
now I hear.
aside. She's getting kind of annoying to me. So I'm just gonna excuse myself for a
Yeah.
second.
So I will just put this in just so you. It looks like someone was asking Anishinaabe.
So that's
Um,
gonna cut it out.
so the first part, Gizikwe, is her traditional name, and then Don Redskye is I guess, the English name, uh, for lack of a better way, or colonial name. Uh, we've, I just discovered this was interesting. I'd never heard this before, but surnames actually started in Ireland, and it oftentimes described people. Um, you know, either who they are or their professions. That's why we got a lot of tailors and blacksmiths and whatnot. Is that those were names of the professions that some people were in, and so it was just a neat history. And then now, I mean, we've always had names that were not necessarily just one word. Like my name Galahindi means clouds passing over, so it's really a three-word name, um, but I didn't have traditionally I wouldn't have had a surname
Mm-hmm.
per se,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that was kind of taken away with the settlers coming over and
Right,
introducing
right.
surnames to us. So we now have the ability to go back to traditional names um, with this new government program, which I think is really awesome that they understand that they're trying to get us back to the roots of that part of our
Yeah.
culture, is going back to our original names or proper names rather than
Yeah.
having to use the contemporary colonial system.
Hmm. That's so interesting. Um, I know there was a lot of surnames from where I'm from that were, when the census takers were listening to, our ancestors tell them their names, they would say, "Oh, that sounds like this." So my adopted grandmother's last name was Nothing. Like her name was Suzanne Nothing. And like so we on my dad's side of the family, he was adopted into the Nothings. So but actually Redskye was a direct translation of Misconnequeb, Red Cloud. And I think that there's not a lot of those that are directly translated, but
Right.
yeah. Um, but there's a James Redskye who was, uh, I think he was a cartographer, but don't, I'm not 100% sure on that. So, but yeah, James Redskye. Um, yeah, but the surname, yeah, and that's really interesting that there's this program now that is like recognizing
Yeah, it's a
names.
bit of a process, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But if you're truly into wanting to reclaim your identity in your culture,
Hmm.
then it's worth the time to go through it. My nation has, you can almost tell people who are from my settlement just by their last names. You know,
Hmm.
the the Antones and the Doc Staters, and you kind of, oh, okay, those guys are from Onondaga.
Right.
And
I'm wearing Janet Antone actually. These are Janet Antone earrings here.
right, nice.
Yeah.
The beadwork out there is really intricate sometimes.
Hmm.
Um, when Ojinkwal and I got married, um, there was a woman out there who did a beadwork choker for me,
Hmm.
which matched the colors matched my ribbon shirt, and
Hmm.
then she also did um, a medicine bag for my partner, and a necklace, um, and a really nicely done. So definitely,
Yeah.
I envy the people who can do that, because for me, in my mind, it wouldn't allow me to figure out how many counting the beads
Right, right.
on
It's
each line,
tedious.
how it goes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's tedious.
So what's up for you next? What is your next project? Besides, you're doing. You said September or so. You're going to be
Yep,
recording with the Lindsay
with
and the
Lindsay
Lowell.
and the Lonelies. This summer I'm hoping to do um some solo stuff. I'm going to be performing at the end of April at the Brewing Co-op. Um, that will be the 29th of April. That's going to be the home county kind of um, shindig party to announce the lineup, I think.
Okay,
Yeah,
so kind of like a preliminary
yes,
thing.
yes.
So are
So
you going to be at the home county again?
I'm not allowed to say whether I am or not.
Okay.
You'll have to come to the party and
Uh, we'll find out when we see you on stage.
Exactly,
Oh
exactly.
yes, she's here.
um, I'm also in school actually. So I've been also juggling going to college full time uh, with all of this other, kids and guitar and
Wow.
whatnot. Oh,
So you've got
yeah.
like a really busy life right now.
Right now, yes, yes, but it's great. I love it. It's not boring, and yeah. Oh, the dog's back in now, so
So
we'll
you
see if
don't
she behaves.
so you don't have a lot of kind of downtime, so to speak.
What's that?
Yeah.
What's downtime? Never heard of it. Yes, I don't have a lot of downtime, but it's I don't know. It makes me appreciate the small amounts of downtime that I have.
So
Um,
someone just asked, what are you studying?
I am studying pre-technology at Fanshawe. I'm doing a certificate program. I'm hoping to get into a trade eventually. And this program kind of lets me try out a bunch of different things. So this semester I have engines class and physics and um, what else? Electronics. And then next semester I have welding. And it's just a lot of
So
trying things.
a lot
Yeah.
of things.
Yes.
And I guess my comes to my mind always time when I think of the word technology is computers.
Mm.
So are you going to be involved in that as well?
I do have a computers course. It's very basic entry level. Um, like we're on week 11 right now, and we're just getting into doing an Excel document. So,
Is that a bit of a suck dog?
yep.
Ours is a mommy's dog. So
Aw.
wherever mommy is, the dog is.
Yeah, this
And
is what this dog is. Yeah.
but she's also a suck, which means that if mommy's not home, then she'll go to whoever's the next person in the house. And
Whoever's most likely to give some love.
yeah,
Aw.
and
Okay.
she's a little golden doodle. So she's
Aw.
only like I think 18, 19 pounds or something.
Oh,
And
wow.
she's full
Oh,
grown. So
yeah. Wow. Well,
so
this old girl is 100 pounds and she's 10 years old. She's my oldest.
oh, you have more than one?
No, I mean, she's like my oldest child.
Right, okay.
Okay, go on. Go lie down. Go on. Yep. Good girl. Yeah. Yeah. So I was just reminded when you were talking about Six Nations and Robbie Robertson, actually, I've been working on a cover um, of his. I may have performed it last time I saw you, but um,
Was the
I've
last
been,
time in the backyard
yeah,
at
I
the
think so.
we set up the stage on the back porch?
I think there was one after that. I think we were in the garden at Solstice.
Okay. That
Yeah,
probably would have been over at the park then.
yeah, yeah. So maybe I
That's
performed it. And
that's the time thing going again, right?
I know, was that before or after the porch?
Pandemic.
But yeah, I've been working. I'd like to. I really like performing this song of his. I've been wanting to do a bunch of different covers by Indigenous people. So if you have any recommendations,
Oh,
um,
I don't know if you know who this artist is, but there is a young artist coming up
uh-huh.
that's really I think following the steps of Buffy St. Marie. Her name Ray Zaragoza.
Okay,
If you've not heard her, I'll have to send you some links to her music.
please.
She's wonderful. Um,
Yes, please. I would love to hear that. Yes.
and she does sing about social things too, right?
Okay.
She's got a song called "Change Your Name" about that whole process of how colonization tries to make everyone conform to their English Eurocentric uh, system. So
Right.
like even surnames.
Right.
Ray is she's part. I can't remember the tribe she's from, but she's part indigenous, part Chinese, I think,
Okay.
and part Mexican. Um,
Right.
so she really understands all of the oppressed cultures because
Right.
she's got them all in her family.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my goodness. Well, I'm gonna have to just put the song on pause for now. But um, yeah, I if you could please send me her stuff, I would. I'm always looking for. Um, I guess you would be the right person to ask. You've got your finger on the pulse of the indigenous, you know, entertainment industry.
Well,
So
I'm trying to it's just kind of a matter sometimes of reaching out to, like I reached out to um the very first time. I mean, I don't know if Chat probably doesn't know this, but you were on my first um Everything Indigenous stream like 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago now. And
wow.
when you were on, it was you and Crystal Shawanda and Mark Najwan. And I don't have as many of technical issues as I had that night.
Oh.
Things seem to be a little bit smoother. I mean, Twitch is Twitch, so obviously we still have issues once in a while, but certainly I think you your first time on the stream, I was going through that big learning curve, and
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
so it was interesting to see um, that now 2 years later we actually are able to um, get things done without all the hiccups along the way.
Right, right. Smooth. Smooth sailing now. What are you doing, Robin? He's just having a bit of milk right now.
Now
So
you actually you created a Twitch account though, right? Didn't you?
did I? I may have made one just so I could join your stream, I think is what I did. And then that's all I ever did on Twitch.
Because
So
at some point, I mean, if you're looking for that avenue of getting people to see you,
hmm.
Twitch is one of those places because there's so many performers on Twitch that
Mm,
just that's what they do. They
really?
just come and perform, and
Yeah.
they'll do an hour or 2 hours or 3 hours, whatever suits them, and they'll do it on a schedule. So people
Wow.
would know, okay, every Wednesday morning at 9 o'clock, Carly Sings is going to be online. So you're setting up a schedule, then
Huh.
people know when you're on, they'll know when to come, and of course then they'll want to go, can you sing this? And can you sing that?
Right. Right, right, right. Oh,
So
fun.
it is interactive, which is the nice thing
Yeah.
about Twitch, because when you're performing at a festival or even in a bar, for example,
Hmm.
I mean you're on stage and you've got your set list, and this is what you're playing,
Yes.
um, and you don't have necessarily the interaction with the audience in the same way as on
Very true.
Twitch, where you can sing a song and then you can chat and then and actually communicate with the people who are watching you
Right,
and kind
right.
of go from there. So
Yeah.
it built a really nice community, um, which is I'd never heard of Twitch before Fab Feline introduced me to it. And it was just for gaming initially is what I was going to do, and then
Right, right.
so I think we talked about that the first stream was looking out and going, where are the indigenous artists or the indigenous
Mm,
streamers? And we're unable to
right,
find
right.
them. And all of a sudden now, Twitch has updated and start, adding different tags that we can put in. So now it's easier to find Indigenous people when you're looking for that, or any group that you're looking for,
Mm-hmm.
the LGBT community, or you know, um, cooking streams and
Yeah.
just chatting
Wow.
streams and political streams. So it's got quite a diverse amount of options or opportunities there
Right.
to go the route you want to go
Right.
in.
So it's like channels then
Yeah,
kind of like YouTube, but more like live content and
yeah, it's more interactive. I think,
okay.
well, of course, YouTube was originally supposed to be a dating site, right? Um,
Did not know that. That's wild.
so that's why it was video. And
Yeah.
then when the dating aspect of it kind of fell through, they decided to open it up to other things. So
Interesting.
then it became more of a media thing.
Hmm. What about Discord? Is that a similar thing to Twitch?
Uh, People will use Discord in collaboration with Twitch in some
Okay.
cases, especially gamers,
Yeah.
because Discord allows you to have um, audio conversations with multiple people, so that
Oh,
so with gamers are playing, they can talk and say, "Hey, over here," or go there, and talk to each other when they're playing, especially if they're playing games with teams. Um,
mm-hmm.
so
Makes sense.
where
Okay.
where the Twitch part of it is more the visual part, and
Right.
not so much that not so much collaborative
Hmm.
as Discord would be. Um,
Right. Right. Okay. Interesting.
so how many kids is this now?
I have two kids and this big old
In
annoying dog.
in the hound, who doesn't
Yeah,
want to leave your side?
I know she's a little clingy right now. So, but we were out for the day, so she's kind of saying, we missed you.
Right?
Oh, and then Robin, it's getting close to his bedtime, so he's getting a little cranky. But yeah, I've got Quinn who's 7, and then Robin who's going to be 2 in a couple 3 weeks. He'll be 2 years old.
Doesn't seem like it's been that long already.
I know. He's a little grumpy. Wait, are you kind of grumpy a bit right now? I know the dog's breathing in your face, and it's a lot. Say bonjour. Cool.
Are you
Well, I don't know.
teaching them language?
Yes, yes. He actually goes to Shwasnagang, the indigenous daycare, so he gets to learn. He gets a lot of
Is that in the city?
cultural. Yeah, it's just on Hill Street. Um, yeah, it's like it's in the shape of a turtle. It's beautiful. It's all new, and they get to smudge there, right? You get to learn how to smudge. You get to
Nice.
learn all. You get to learn the language, but they're learning different. Like they learn Oneida language too, and um, yeah, it's great. It's great, right?
I know that there's a Mohawk teacher named Christy Talbot who's translating nursery rhymes into the Mohawk language,
Oh, that's so
and
nice.
so she's really trying to push that, reclaiming the language too. Um,
I love that.
so, and I'm starting to see more indigenous artists who are taking pop songs and
Mhm.
singing them in
Right.
their languages.
I
Um,
love that.
I think probably the most popular one was Emma Stevens, who did a rendition of Blackbird, which got
Right.
uh, Paul McCartney even gave her props for that one.
Right. Right.
But
Yeah.
there's a Inuit singer now who just came out and did a rendition of a Blondie song, "Heart of
Mm.
Glass," in
Oh,
the
cool.
Inuit language. So I think that was to hear it, all the rhythm and
Mhm.
all the sounds are the same. It's just the language is different, right?
Amazing. That's so great.
But it's yeah, I think it's good to see that happening,
Mhm.
and I think that's gonna be a trend that'll keep on going.
Yeah,
So
yeah. All right. Well, I think I might have to say Bama P for now. But thank you so much for asking me to come on here and
well, thank you for coming.
yeah. And
Maybe we'll get a couple more songs out of you next time.
next time, yes, I'll be more prepared next time. I'll have the kids locked up with the dog.
Locked up. We got a closet for them
Yeah.
somewhere. Try I keep telling that's why I keep telling my partner there's every time the dog starts barking at she hears people walk up our sidewalk before they even get to the door and she's starting to bark
Mhm.
and we need to
Yeah.
stick her in a closet whenever we want silence.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, geez.
She won't let me do it though.
No. What I'll have to do is lock myself in a closet
Right.
so that I get some
Well,
peace and quiet.
I
Right?
will let I will share a couple of the videos I have of yours so that the chat can hear some more of your music and we look
Awesome.
forward to hearing some of your newer music next
Yes,
time.
thank you. Awesome.
So yeah, keep in touch.
Yes, yes, you too. Take care, eh?
Yes. Bye, little one.
Bye bye.
Bye
Say
bye.
mama.
Mama, be.
Nonkiwa. Let's see, am I back here yet? There I. Well, I was back. There I am. So, Dawn Redskye, Anishinaabe and Irish. It was great to have her here and catch up. It's been a while since we chat. She performs um, again, like we discussed, with a band called Lindsay and the Lonelies. Now, you know, I've never actually looked up Lindsay and the Lonelies music. Um, but I should do that at some point and try to see if there's something that I can share. In the meantime, though, Dawn herself has performed um, as a solo artist, and she's performed with a band with her sister as again that was called um, Blackwood Honeybees, and they have a song that was really popular. Um, especially at least around our area here. And so I'm going to play that song here so that you guys can actually see it. And it's called "Deal with the Devil." And the band that she performed this with on this particular video is another local band called the Soots, or Soots. And so let me get my face off the screen here, and we'll get the. I'll let you see. Now, this is, I will tell you, a few years ago. So we're talking probably 2014, somewhere around there, 2015.
I made a deal with the devil at a potter's field. I made a deal with the devil at a potter's field. You know, he asked me bed, asked me meal. You know, he asked me bleed, asked me feel. I said, ooh. I got my heel on shoulder and I'm digging my grave. I got my heel on shoulder and I'm digging my grave. You know, I asked the love for mercy, said I couldn't be saved. You know, I asked the love for mercy, said I couldn't be saved. 'cause it's not day to day. I said, hey, what you gonna do? You shake hands with the devil, he'll come looking for you. So run to the mountain, please hide me. Run to the mountain, please hide me along my day. I feel the breath of the hellhound on my heel. Feel the breath of the hellhound on my heel. Ever said it's what you get for walking down the deal. It's what you get for walking down the deal. Cause it's not in my out. Day to day I said, hey, what you gonna do? You shake hands with the devil, they're gonna look for you.
So Don Redskye, she said, is performing primarily on as a solo artist these days, but she did perform with her sister in a band that they called the Blackwood Honeybeans, and that's that Bandcamp link that I posted in there, so you can still hear her music there. Now, her sister is Shauna Redskye, and Shauna is probably a little bit more on the activist um, type of artist. And she wrote a song in 2018 um, that she called White Letter or White Paper. And she gave a bit of when she posted this, she gave a bit of a kind of a uh, trigger warning type thing at the beginning of this, just so that people understood. So I'm going to read that and play the song. I'm going to read it as out of respect to the fact that she obviously wanted people to hear a little bit before they listen to the song. So she said, "My dear ones, Indigenous kin, take good care of your hearts today. I encourage you to do everything you need to honor your well being, your safety, your sacred grieving space, your rage, your celebrations of your existence. If you are in need of support, there are folks out there to support you, such as the Indian Residential School Survivors and Family Hotline, Native Youth Crisis Hotline, First Nations Inuit Wellness Hotline, Hope for Wellness Hotline." So, um, Nimi's Don Redskye and I would like to make this offering to share this song with those who are ready to listen. I hesitated in sharing this one. For one, I worry about how it will affect my Indigenous kin, particularly on this day of heightened colonial violence and impending Canada Day celebrations, celebrations of genocide, and I have included a trigger warning for this reason. Secondly, it is deeply vulnerable and a painful song that sometimes physically hurts me to sing. But sometimes that's what truth telling is. And being responsible to our songs sometimes means stepping into that brave space so that those hearts ready to listen will hear you. I'm so deeply grateful to my Indigenous kin carving out the space for us and each other so that each time it gets easier to sing and to speak. To those of you celebrating Canada Day, this is your Canada. Miigwech to our friends, Mike and Kayla, for all their help. The trigger warning of the song is that it's going to include colonial violence, including misogynistic and racist language, violence against Indigenous women and Two Spirit folks, pollution of our waterways, and land theft. This is called White Paper. The song erupted from my heart years ago after finding an old letter written to me from an ex. An excerpt in the response to me ending our relationship reads verbatim, quote, "What else does a squaw, how else does a squaw dry up so fast?" In other words, how dare you say no? There must be another man. What other explanation for you leaving me? Squaw is a violent, derogatory, misogynistic slur used against Indigenous women for generations and against me, Anishinaabe Kwe, expressing agency in the choice of right to say no and to protect my vessel, my sacred waterways from him. So that is kind of her preemptive, I guess, disclaimer before before you hear the song. So I'm going to play that song now. Now, White Paper, you also, for those of you who don't know, or those of you who are not from Canada, um, White Paper was done in the time of Pierre Trudeau, who is our current Prime Minister's father. And it's a kind of a mask in a sense of packaging things in a pretty box and handing it off as a gift when you open it up and it turns out to be dog turd. Um, it wasn't a a good thing for indigenous people, and I think that was the whole point of her calling this the white paper. On top of the other colonial aspects of what she's including in this. So let me get my face off the screen again. And this is going to be Shauna and Don Redskye performing this in 2018. And the song is again called White Paper.
Soaked into your love letters, poems addressed to your sweet squaw. I'll extract what I need from you, sweet muse. How else does a squaw dry up so fast? He said, ooh, 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 ooh. White paper. corrupted streams, wastewater infused into our blood, absorbed in dreams. You are protected, just you wait, just as they say. Don't throw our babes out with the bad water, we pray. Ooh, 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 ooh. White, white paper, white, white hands, white sound, mouths overdubbed with colonial tongue, our stories still bound. Their ratings, their hymns continue to plug us from the land. Riddles riddled from a fickle fork tongue tell us they can. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Edwardus Curtis was a mighty mean man. Shot our ancestors on the last land with his camera, their offerings, their horses and bows. Long dark hair, fierce cheekbones, in black and white still, so static, so still. Unmoving pride, precarious pose, the vanishing race against the times. Prophets bound up with our souls.
So that was called White Paper by Shauna and Don Redskye. Hope you enjoyed that. So I'm going to look for someone that we can raid. In the meantime, as what we always try to do is we try to finish off the show with a version of the Peaceful War. Actually, you know what? I'm going to play one more song by the Blackwood Honeybees. They actually got featured on a local television series that we have. So our local television station often will do a feature of some up and rising um, musicians in the area, local musicians. And there's a guy named Rini who kind of hosts the show. So actually, I'd like to share that before we go. So let me disappear again, and I'll just show you this one just because I think that this is kind of a cool performance as well that they did.
Hi, this is James Rainey with this week's Rainey's Pick in London Arts and Entertainment. And this week we are thrilled to have with us on the soundstage at lfpress.com Blackwood Honeybees. And right about now, I think we're going to hear a little bit of their Small Town. That was Blackwood Honeybees performing Small Town, one of their originals. The band will be...
Okay, so that was, I think that that was a fun song. That was kind of upbeat and makes you want to move. Now, I also want to remind you next Thursday, there's going to be a panel discussion, and we're going to talk about a film that I showed last night. Um, hey, Speakeasy Ray, Sigoli, welcome in. You're just catching us on the tail end of things. Um, so there's a film called In Still I Rise, which really focuses on the human trafficking and particularly in the States, but um, the human trafficking that's happening in the States is also happening in Canada. And so I showed that film. If you didn't get a chance to see it, you can always watch the VOD. It'll be on my last stream that I did. It's about my last stream, which was about 7 hours. It's about 4 hours into it. So if you go to the 4 hour mark, you'll be able to watch that. It's a documentary on the human trafficking, and then next Thursday is going to be the director of that film is going to have a panel discussion, which I'll be sharing here with everyone online here. So I hope that you will join for that. And let me see. Uh, I'm going to the version of the Peaceful Warrior I'm going to play today is by a singer from Australia. Her name's Amanda Easton. Amanda Easton's not streaming right now. She is working on coming back. So if any of you are in chat who know who Amanda Easton is, you'll know that she's going through some health issues at the moment. And so we ask that everybody kind of keep her in their thoughts and prayers as she's going through this stuff. She's keeping up strong and has positive outlook on how things are going to go. And she's a fighter, so I'm sure that um, she'll have this over with, and it'll be a hiccup in the road. But I want to play this song, um, play her rendition of the Peaceful Warrior. I'll put in the raid call, and I will check that out, Scissorman. I'm not sure who that is, but I will take a look at that. In the meantime, let me go ahead and disappear again, just like magic. And this is Amanda Easton.
My name's Amanda and I'm at war for peace. All senseless attacks I see must cease. So what am I doing here? And what I really want to say is that the world has got to change its way. I'm talking about all the creatures from the water to the sky. I'm talking about all the issues from the truth to the lies. And I'm gonna make my stand with a paper and a pen. If you want to argue that, go back to bed again. So let's keep passing around our information, so we can improve this planet through education. Somebody's gonna make the people aware. Someone's gonna make everybody care. So pass my message on if you dare. My name's Amanda and I'm at war for peace. All senseless attacks I see must cease. I'm going in to fight for the red, white, yellow and black. Going to fight for the ones who can't fight back. There is more power in one man's voice than all the weapons of military choice. So with my voice and your voice, we can shout it out loud that we belong to the human race and we are proud. You don't have to be a master of science to see that we need to create a worldwide alliance. We've seen how the world can be devastated through the actions of men with minds of hatred. My name's Amanda and I'm at war for peace. All senseless attacks I see must cease. But I won't be able to move the world all alone. So remember, this is also your home. I more senseless attacks I see must cease. So what am I doing here? And what I really want to say is that the world has got to change its way, and it's rushing.